The 49ers played in their first preseason game. We talk about that and more today on 49ers Uncovered. How's it going, everyone? My name is Mase. You can find me on Twitter at CaliKing49er17. My co-host, as always, on 49ers Uncovered is Chris. Chris, how we doing, bro?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm all right, man. The Niners did ultimately lose yesterday, 13-17, but I think there were some spots on the game that I guess were promising, and it showed that the Niners have some depth on the roster. What were your overall thoughts and feelings of the
game? Like you said, some good, some bad. Nothing that makes me too discouraged.
Yeah.
There were a few players that showed out for sure.
Okay, yeah. You want to go ahead and name them off and give a couple examples and just talk about their play?
Mason.
Yeah.
Really nice.
He really had command and control in that first drive, getting after it. I think Brandon Allen had good control of the offense as well. Yeah. Some drops there, though, right? Down the stretch and crucial third down plays in that first drive. I think there's one on the second drive too, but those wide receivers ultimately ended up kind of coming back and doing well overall as a unit. Conley had a couple, I guess, inside catches off the pads, but he also had a couple extensions there too.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on Cody Schrager? You think it was the line? You think it was the jitters?
I think he had the jitters a little bit, especially on that first drive he was in. I mean, he ran the ball, I believe, 5 times for 6 yards. The stat line doesn't look too good, but it's preseason. Hopefully he gets another chance to get out there.
Yeah, and I'm sure he will next week against New Orleans. That running back room, we got Christian McCaffrey, but after that, it's kind of a mix here. We got Elijah Mitchell, Jordan Mason, and I don't know if the rookie's still in the running for that RB2. I think it'd just be between JP Mason and Elijah Mitchell. Do you think Elijah lost any ground?
It's very possible, as good as JP ran.
Yeah. I don't know. Elijah Mitchell was a 6th-round pick in 2021. He's good when he's on the field, but he's hardly ever on the field. Also seems to be taking a lot of the load there too. So the Niners have Matt Breida, Patrick Taylor, Keyshawn Vaughn was just added, rookie Cody Schrader, as we talked about, and then Isaac Guerrero, who was a 4th-round pick. So I think there's going to be some surprise cuts there. Not everyone's going to make it. You think they keep 4, maybe 5?
Probably 4, I would
4
say.
And move Schrader to the practice squad, maybe?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Exactly.
Yeah. Hopefully he shows some promise or does something in the next one. We stayed on offense really quick. We didn't see any of Tanner Mordecai. Didn't see any of Brock Purdy. Allen started. Dobbs finished. Both showed flashes and that they are both legit contenders for the QB2. I really want to see Mordecai, but I don't really think he's going to get a lot of field time, especially after that. Probably practice too. What do you think?
Yeah. It definitely doesn't look like it. Dobbs, he showed that he can use his legs too.
Yeah, man, improvisation. I can't say that word. That's what he's really good at. He had to learn 4 or 5 different offenses last year, right? So he just went out there and kind of did his thing and showed why Kyle Shanahan went out and gave him the opportunity that he did. Okay, so do you think that the offense showed out more, or do you think the defense showed out
more? I'm going to go with the defense.
Okay. So what makes you think that?
As I already mentioned, Malik Mustapha.
Yeah.
Looked really good. He was all over the field, man.
Really
Wherever the ball was, he was trying to get there.
That goal line hit he had, dude. I mean, he had a couple hits, but that goal line hit was really, really nice.
For sure.
I really like him. D. Winters showed flashes, great instincts. He also kind of overran on a couple plays, so there's still some developing to do, but that just might be coming down to him getting on the field. And I think if he keeps going the way that he's going, he's going to get some opportunities. What do you think?
Yep. And possible depth piece, Kalia Davis was the only 49er with a sack. So
yeah, that's a good shot there. He did have a very good night. The rest of the defensive linemen, especially Robert Beal Jr., who we had talked about before the game, just weren't. I don't know. They didn't really stand out. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the offense in the opening drives looked really like a lot better than I expected them to. The defense too, but Ambry Thomas made a bonehead play and then ended up unfortunately getting injured.
Yeah.
So you said it was an arm injury for him?
Yes, sir.
So he might not even make it back to the preseason. So
sounds like he broke his arm. So
okay, yeah. So he's going to be out, probably put on IR, then maybe released. Not really sure there. Okay, let me look that up. Rocky Sin, he looked very physical, good as well. He actually was on the field for a lot of snaps.
He was.
You think he's on the bubble, or do you think that Kyle Shanahan just really wanted to see everything he had to offer?
I actually believe he'll make the team. That physicality, I think, is something they're going to love.
Yeah, it's something that I think the Niners defensive back room really strives off and needs. We see Hufanga, he can definitely lay the lumber. Jair Brown can. Mustapha, welcome in, bro. He definitely can lay the lumber. So there's a lot of guys on there. Renardo Green plays very big, more physical. So you kind of like those guys in the secondary, those bullies and whatnot. Aside from Ambry Thomas getting injured before that, did you see anything spectacular out of him, or was the ship sort of sailing?
I believe the ship may be sailing on him. He's had a lot of playing time over the last couple of years, and he's made mistakes.
Yeah. So I'm looking, forearm injury. Austin Bryant also on IR. Elijah Mitchell is still questionable with a hamstring. Drake Jackson's on IR, so he's done for the year, I'm assuming.
I believe so.
That's why the Niners are trying out a multitude of guys at defensive end. I think there's still a couple veteran defensive ends out there in the free agency market. You think the Niners reach out, or you think they try to just utilize what they have on their roster?
They'll honestly probably stay put with what they have.
Yeah. Mitch Wisnowski was out, so the Niners signed Presley Harvin III, and he actually looked pretty good. Dude's got a nice leg. Kicked the ball deep a couple times there. So the Niners kind of got out of that, aside from Ambry Thomas, unfortunately, unscathed. Looked pretty good. Basic packages, nothing too crazy. I guess we can move on then from that. What position group after this game worries you the most about the 49ers?
Man, I would say their depth at pass rushing.
Okay.
Their pass rushing depth, I'm not too sure about it yet. Obviously, when Bosa's on the field, Hargrave, it's going to be a little different. But that depth when they're not on the field could get a little scary. Yeah,
there were a lot of guys that weren't in for the Niners, so you kind of hoped for a little glimpse. And we kind of saw with Davis, not much elsewhere from there. I say for me, I think it's more of their special teams. That kickoff, they got to get it figured out. The kickoff defense wasn't looking too hot and great for them a couple times there. So I think Jake Moody did have a touchback kick, so dude's in midseason form. It's nice, but unfortunately, aside from that, the special teams really need to lock it up, I think. Okay, let's see. I'm trying to see here. Oh, I want to give Odom a shout, too, because we were going nuts for him. He was making some plays. He was playing like a box safety yesterday, man. He was playing like it was 5 years ago. He looked pretty good. What do you think?
For sure. No, I like it. He's looking good, man.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to go to our second segment now. I'm going to call this one the Crystal Ball. Like Crystal Ball, you can look into it, see the future. Chris is going to give his opinion on some position groups and just kind of give us insights at final cuts and see who's going to make the roster kind of before it happens, I guess you'd say. Kick return position, punt return position. Is it still up for grabs? And who is your favorite to take it?
So I'm thinking Trent Taylor. That's, the vet. He's done it quite a bit before, and I think they'll trust him.
You think it's between, I think we said who yesterday, Ronnie Bell and him? It was looking like. I think the guy that ends up being the fifth or sixth final wide receiver on the roster is going to have to add special teams. So it's going to end up being one of those two guys, I think, as well. Ricky Pearsall didn't make the trip with the team, so he wasn't there, and I don't remember seeing Jordan Mason return any kicks. I think he just did the drive and then they kind of said, all right, man, you're looking way too good. You need to sit out. Rightfully so. Okay. How many running backs do you think make the team? I guess we kind of talked about this earlier. I think you said 4.
Yeah.
Okay. You want to give us your 4?
So obviously Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
JP Mason.
Okay.
Elijah Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
Isaac Guerrero.
Yeah. Okay. And then Schrader, I think we said on the practice squad.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. Do the Niners bring in anyone on that defensive unit next game or beforehand?
Probably not. You know, they did go out. They signed Leonard Floyd in the offseason. And, you know, they got Gross Matos.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know that they'll go out and sign anybody before next.
Well, the rookie Renardo Green played 86% of snaps. That's 61 snaps. And then he played 37%, so 7 snaps on special teams. Beal, 72% of snaps. That's 51 snaps. Mustapha, 65%. That's 46 snaps. And then Robinson, the linebacker, and D. Winters, 52% and 51%. So they were really trying certain guys out, but Green definitely, they're getting him primed and ready to go, I think, for week 1 and just kind of packing it on. Him and Rocky Sin.
Yeah.
And Mustapha being the top guys there.
The thing, Green played on the inside and the outside, so
yeah.
So that's good, man.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so I also think that the Niners are going to wait. Maybe we'll get like a Hail Mary signing before the last preseason game. I can see if it really doesn't shake out, but it could just be jitters. Guys just trying to find their spot in the line, get some camaraderie, figure out what guys are doing and what works. Very vanilla game script, I'm assuming, in the first game there, so probably more to come with the second one. Who is a player from each side of the ball that you think could be a surprise cut? A guy in offense and defense that fans or people maybe are not anticipating being cut, but you got to have some room.
So I think Danny Gray could be one who ends up being cut.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been a guy on the roster for a couple years, but I think his time might be coming.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's a loaded room. He's not doing special teams. He hasn't been on the field. Can't get on the field, then Niners will probably let you go, right? All right, what do you think for defense?
Kevin Givens.
Okay. You just think it's too thick at defensive tackle? Davis probably took his spot last night, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The Niners have Hargrave, Collins, Givens, Elliott, Ty McGill, undrafted Frazier Anderson. So there's some guys there, but not a lot of those. Say that again.
Somebody's got to be the odd man out, and it might be him.
Yeah, for sure. But just like we were just talking about, there's a lot of guys that didn't even really play last night. Like that main entire front 4 or 5 guys did not, depending on the package, did not play last night. So for Davis to step up like that, that's good. Since he was the only one, maybe gets a little more spotlight on that. But yeah, they got to improve there. But it is encouraging knowing that it's not the starters or anything like that. Okay. Are the Niners too deep at defensive back? This is deepest group as we had in a while. So is it too premature to be like, all right, we're good with these guys, they're going to come and rock it? Or do you think that's really what the case is?
I mean, it isn't a bad problem to have.
Right.
With Emory Thomas, possibly it'll thin out a little bit. But they're going to have to battle for the next couple preseasons.
Yeah, no, I agree. Lenore's going to be nice, but he's going to be, I think he's in a contract year. Isaac Yadom, we didn't see him too much. I thought he was going to be starting, playing a lot more. We said Odom's good. I think the Niners are pretty good at safety. Tracy Walker did all right. I think it'll last another week. With Odom stepping up and kind of like showing force, I don't think that was good for Walker, but Walker literally just got to the Niners. So Samuel Womack as well was out there. Let's see. We saw Hawkins a little bit as well. I'd have to go back and look again to really actually watch him, but he didn't really catch my eye too much. Luter Jr. Let's see. And then you have Renardo Green, the second-round rookie, getting an insane amount of work there. Okay, so final remarks. Last question for you, Chris. Who had a better game? Was it J.P. Mason or was it D. Winters?
Ooh. I'm going to go with J.P. Mason.
Okay.
I mean, don't get me wrong. D. Winters is very impressive. I've liked him since they got him.
Mm-hmm.
But that guy ran with the purpose last night. And his purpose is to get everything that Christian McCaffrey doesn't.
Yeah. He was, I wouldn't say he was breaking tackles, but if someone was grabbing a hold of him, he was falling forward on them for 2, 3, 4 yards, rushing, bowling through people, reading his keys. I really wanted to see him out there for like 2 or 3 more series just because, you think that they're going to be good enough to drive down the field with the way that Allen was going as well. So I agree as well, but both had amazing games. I think we're stars on both sides of the ball. You got anything else for us today?
No, I think that's it. I don't know if I mentioned it, but shout out to Tay Martin. 7 targets, 5 receptions for 58 yards, led the team.
Love to see that.
I just wanted to mention him.
Yeah, no, for sure. Got to give credit where it's due, especially in a thick wide receiver room like the Niners have. With really quick, all right, one more final thought that just popped in my head. We almost went the whole episode without mentioning Brandon Aiyuk, so I'm going to do it. I'll be that guy, man, all right? Hands are red. What do you think with the situation now, realizing that Aiyuk could possibly stay? And then with that said, if he does stay, how do you feel about the Niners taking a wide receiver in the first round?
So I'm starting to think there's more than a 50% chance that he will resign. Yeah. They seem to be talking a little bit now. The communication lines are a little more open than they were. And honestly, I think it's just the best situation for both sides.
Yeah, I think so as well. Brandon Aiyuk wants to play for a contender, I think, but he also wants to get paid. He's Brock Purdy's best target, and I think the Niners, especially Kyle Shanahan, that offense would not – they don't want to see him go, but also at the same time it's becoming a distraction, and so many other things are coming into play. The biggest thing you got to have is communication, like we talked about before. And it looks like maybe they had a heart-to-heart meeting or something that happened. Kyle Shanahan said that he remains the same, but he's always said that he's optimistic, right? He's never really taken a side or probably even liked to answer the question 6 different times every time he steps to a podium, man. But, I think the Niners do re-sign him. What do you think about – what does that mean for Pearsall? Is he moving straight to special teams? Do you think they work in some packages on him? What are your thoughts on him?
Well, with his injury, it's a little cloudy. I'm not really sure. But when he's ready, if he comes back before the regular season, he'll get playing time in the preseason. And hopefully we can get a good idea of what he is.
Yeah. No, depth is always good, but we've got guys like Cowing and other players that are deep on that roster that don't actually contribute to special teams right now that are going to be fighting for a roster spot. Danny Gray, like you talked about, might be a cut victim among others. And these guys, when they get on the field, they're good players, right? I guess when I think of Danny Gray, I think of that touchdown pass he got from Trey Lance, but we don't want to dig that deep into the vault today because we'll be here all day ranting and raving. Yeah. So that's all I got today. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Thanks, Chris. And we'll see you guys next time.
Thank you.